next portion is our Powerhouse panel. First, I want to introduce the moderator, Asia Dang, who herself is a YouTube content creator and activist. I've had the pleasure and the fortune of being a good friend of Asia's now for maybe like 5 years. She will be taking over today and she will introduce our amazing panelists. So welcome Asia to the stage.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Okay, I know y'all just had lunch, but that was super weak, okay? How are you doing? How's everyone going? That's much better. All right, I know Ashley kind of briefly went over this, but can my content creators raise your hands? Just so I know. I see like mini hands, okay. Entrepreneurs, please raise your hands. I love all these like female entrepreneurs. Okay, so whether we're content creators or budding entrepreneurs, we all have to navigate like the craziness that is social media, you know what I'm saying? So we have a kick-ass panel that is going to give you the ins and outs of how to build a career in the digital age, okay? So we're gonna try and have some time for questions. Write them down, take notes. Last year, this panel was absolutely incredible. I know a ton of people who took some key points away, so definitely make notes, listen. If you have any questions, put them aside because we're gonna try and get our 5 fabulous panelists to help you out on your journey, okay? So everyone, give our panelists a round of applause. Come on up here, Gina, Cole, Ivy. Let's just start going down the line with Ivy. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Ivy CAVIC, and I am a partner at Rare Global. I'm Ashley's partner, and I am a talent manager.
I'm Cole TRIDER. I own Chasing Creative Media, and I share some amazing clients with some of these ladies, and we focus on digital brands and digitally native talent.
I'm Christina Woody-Train. I'm the founder and president of BUCKSHOT Marketing, and we advise early stage companies as well as legacy brands on brand marketing, content programming, and mission-based work.
Hi everybody, I'm Gina Wade, and I'm the owner of Gina Wade Creative. We're a full-service event production and design company. We also represent about 12 different event venues, hotels, and restaurants to help market them for events and event production.
I'm CHARINA Scott. I'm the brand partnerships manager at REVOLVE.
All right, before we start getting into the nitty-gritty, if you guys can all explain to us, give us a really quick bio, because their journeys are absolutely incredible, and I want you to know where they've come and where they are now, because we're all here to learn, you know? So if you guys can start, give us a really quick bio about how you started and then how you became to be where you are today. As quickly as you can.
I feel like I should need to talk like the microman machine. So I actually started in the mailroom at ICM. I was an agent trainee, and I worked my way up the ranks through like that very old school entertainment world. I worked at several large management companies, and about a year ago, partnered with Ashley and decided that we were going to, do our own thing, take over the world together. And, by working with great talent and managing their careers from acting on my side as well as digital, but simultaneously doing it both.
I mean, do we have an hour?
Yeah, that's like the best way to do the bridge.
Because, let's see, where did I start? So I went to USC, and I realized that interning, learning by doing, was the best way to get ahead. Write that down. Literally, intern. So I was interning 3 days a week, going to school twice a week, and I found kind of my passion, which was, recognizing talent and, channeling that towards fashion. So I was working with Chanel, and then from there I kind of just got on the PR train and worked for different brands. And then I kind of saw a need in the market for digital talent, and that as the future. Like digital brands, digital talent, that was it. But people weren't getting it in PR. People were like in the old school, like, let's send a press release and over, that's done. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna just do it myself. So I saved up money, I wrote out a business plan. I'm like, this is how much I need to start it. This, literally, a laptop, $1,500, this, like, and I just saved up enough money after working for a bigger agency. And then I realized, listen, I can just do it myself. I can do it better and smarter. And then I literally quit my job, and I got a bunch of job offers that were really, really comfortable and great. And I said, screw it, I'm doing it myself. And then I just kind of hit up every contact I could find in the industry that I'd ever worked with, didn't work with. Can I take you to coffee? Can I take you to lunch? And then signed my first influencer, Megan Mercelehi. And then after that, it's just all been a great, fun train.
So I've been working in strategic communications for about 15 years, which means I'm ancient to most of you. But I started in big agency life. I think most of us get our start there because you can really grind it out as a junior person and learn as much as you can. And I think that's a really important point. A lot of times when you're doing, can you curse? Can we curse?
I do it all the time.
A
Go
lot
for
of
it.
time when you're doing like the shit work, I remember when, like, this is gonna date me, but I was doing a project with MTV as a junior person, and Sarah Jessica Parker had given an interview for her very first Sex and the City publicity campaign, and I had to watch it on a VHS and literally transcribe every single word. But now I'm a hella fast typer and can bang out email. You know what I mean? So I think you have to be like, every time like you're doing something that seems like shitty, just be like, all right, I'm gonna bank that because I know 10 years from now it's gonna be popping. So write that down. So I, worked in big agencies, worked on massive global campaigns for Xbox, Unilever, General Motors, and they were all really great and fun and cushy agency jobs. I think once you get to be senior at an agency, it's hella cushy, but then you realize that like you have a passion and you want to do something that's more, I guess, aligned to you, and that took me into the startup space where I met Ashley and a lot of the people here today, and from there just kind of snowballed to starting my own company, very similar to you, like what do I need to do this myself, and my two first clients, not sure how, but were BeautyCon and Disney. And that was literally just from having a reputation of being someone that knows how to get shit done. And I think I can get shit done because I transcribed tapes when I was 19, you know?
So I got my start, like Christina, quite some time ago. I started in the world of events by working in sales and marketing. And when everybody else was doing their sales and their marketing for some of the luxury brands that I was working for at the first company I worked for out of college, I was like, but I'm more of like not a PowerPoint person. I'm much more of a people person, and I like to engage with people, and I love to throw parties and do fun little things. And I basically convinced my boss that this was the way that I wanted to do it. I convinced him to give me a shot, and my sales went up. So that's when it kind of was this aha moment that it's the events that I really like doing. So from there, I parlayed that job into a job in hospitality, got a lot of experience working inside a hotel at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood, doing events from that side, and again, doing every single job I could get my hands on. There was never a time when I was like, but that's not my job, or that's so-and-so's responsibility. It didn't matter. I wanted to get in there and really learn every facet that I could. I opened a few different venues, was the director of events at a few different places, got recruited for a big event production company, very fancy job, and to Cole's point, it just didn't turn out exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was a little disarrayed and whatnot. So I eventually just was like, I'm looking back on my career and I'm looking at the fact that every job I've ever had, I've outgrown. And every job I've left is because I have literally maximized that opportunity. I remember very clearly one of my job reviews at said Mondrian Hotel, and they gave me a raise and they gave me all these accolades, and I was like, well, great, what's next? And they were like, we really know that you have a lot of passion, so we're gonna let you come to the executive committee meetings with all the VPs, and you get to take the notes. And I remember thinking to myself, thank you, but I already know how to read and I already know how to write. So as much as you think that this is a great opportunity, I don't see that as a challenge. So it's those moments that I really realize, yes, this job may be making me more money. Yes, this job may be cushy or interesting or have some kind of, sheen to it. But if I'm not learning more and pushing myself more, none of that other stuff matters. So after a couple of instances like that, I eventually was like, you know what? I'm just going to start my own business. I feel like I can do this. If I'm in control of my own destiny, then the sky's the limit. So 11 years ago, I left that job, that last job that I was at in-house, and started GINA Wade Creative. I had my first client 3 days after I started because some of these other people that had tried to hire me for full-time jobs that weren't exactly a great fit for me, I went back to those people and said, hey, remember when you wanted to hire me? Well, guess what? Now you can as a consultant, and I can do these specific things for you. I hustled. I worked really, really, really hard. I grew my business. I changed my business, and just kind of threw myself into my name into hats that not really knowing if I was going to get the job or not get the job, but I knew that if I wasn't at least putting myself up for the job, then it's a zero-sum game. If I'm not even like throwing my name in the hat, then I'm definitely not going to get the job. But if I try, and in the last 11 years, we've been a part of the Vanity Fair Oscar party. We've done things for Netflix, Hulu, and even though we're 11 years in, I will say this, the hustle hasn't stopped. The growth hasn't stopped. There's not a point, and I think everybody on this panel will agree with me on this, there's not a point where you get to a place where you're just like, okay, great, that's it. I've done it. We're done. Woo! No, like every year it's like, how do we do more? How do we get better? How do we take more clients on? And really, really push ourselves. I think that's sort of the next step for anybody that is an entrepreneur trying to build a business. So that's kind of been my little journey.
Wow. So I got my start actually right after high school. I was 18, 19, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I wanted to kind of get life experience and work experience, so I took an internship at a showroom that did wholesale and PR, and I just fell in love with the hustle. It was so, the back end of things, from seeing where a magazine ends up, seeing where collections are sold, like I just totally loved all of it. So for the first 2 years, I was fortunate enough at that company. They let me kind of do a little bit of everything. I was like a wholesale rep, I was doing press pitches, I was doing stylist bowls, but after about 2 years, I was like, I really honed in on wanting to do public relations. So that's kind of where my background came from, was like traditional boutique luxury PR. And then a few years after that, Revolve approached me to be their press manager initially. And, that kind of meant the start of all of the trips and events that we started doing. And as we grew as a company, obviously the tasks got bigger, and so it became more specialized. And I was like, I love making deals and I love making money, so I'm gonna be the partnerships manager. And that's where I am today.
So any questions you could possibly need about your career can be answered on these 5 panelists, is basically what they're saying. So 4 of you are founders, but you all transitioned out of agency jobs because, I don't know, it just wasn't satisfying for you. What was the scariest part of making that transition and starting your own company?
I think for me, this is gonna sound trite, but I wasn't necessarily scared because I honestly believe that I had put in the work over the 15 years. So I figured, okay, like, I'll go do my own thing, and if it works, like, great. Like, but if not, I knew that I could always go back and get a job somewhere. I was like, somebody gonna hire me. So I think I had sort of that, I guess, comfort level, and I guess that would be something that I would say. I think everyone's path is different. Some people right out of the gate know that they want to be entrepreneurs and they're going to start their own business. For me, I felt much more comfortable taking that leap after already having had learned on someone else's dime. So I got to learn how to be a boss on Edelman's dime, Weber Shandwick's dime, Porter Novelli's dime, and then I'm taking that to make my own coins. I think the scariest part was I was 6 months pregnant with my first kid when I quit my full-time job, and my husband was like, But the work part wasn't scared. I think just more the personal part of, holy shit, I'm gonna like start a business and grow a person. Like, what does that look like? But it all ended up really well. And like, frankly, like I bet on myself. And to me, like that's a good bet. Like I'll always bet on CHRYSTINA. And I think for the women in this audience that are thinking about it, like if you bet on you, like you're popping. So if there's anyone to bet on, I'm not gonna bet on Cole. I love Cole. I'm not gonna bet on Cole, but I'm gonna bet on me, and that's what I did.
But how did you get that confidence in yourself to feel that way? Because not a lot of people can leave a job, be pregnant, and be like, that's fine by me, I'm still gonna do this.
I think as just a woman of color, like you just have to believe so hard in yourself and fake that confidence until other people start to believe it. And I think you just get the confidence by just, to Gina's point, putting in the work. Like if you put in the work at ICM, you put in the work at these agencies, like you start to get to a point where you've seen this before. You can smell a rat, you know if a client has money or not. Like you just start to kind of get, I don't know, like I'm sure that everyone else has multiple opinions, but
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. And another thing too is to kind of parlay off of what CHRYSTINA just said, when you've done the work, that is a confidence builder. And I tend to get a little frustrated sometimes with people that have this idea of if you love what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. That is the biggest load of bullshit. I'm sorry, because doing the work isn't coming to work every day and getting this fun job that's just a blast. It's doing the work and learning the lessons that you might not want to learn. You know what I mean? Nobody up here and nobody out there ever pulls this lottery ticket out where it's just this easy path if you really want to be successful. So sometimes the best lessons you're going to learn are the ones that come from failing or embarrassing yourself or doing something wrong or having to eat crow. But it's when you pick yourself back up and you get back on that path, that's when you know that when you're going out to do your own business, you've built that strength up for yourself where you're like, well, shoot, if I can survive that and I can get past that, I can do it for myself. And also to kind of go off of CHRYSTINA's point, the work is also, there's work, and one of the parts of work that I really truly believe in is sacrifice. You have to decide, how badly do you want this? Because if you're not willing to give up something for your dream, then is that really your dream? Because CHRYSTINA gives up time with her children to be at work. Ivy does the same thing. I do the same thing. I've had to give up, I do events for a living. Events take place on the weekends. So I didn't get to go to my best friend's birthday party, or my birthday had to take a back seat, or somebody's wedding had to take a back seat, or whatever. But those are the sacrifices I was willing to make because I so wanted my company to succeed, and I wanted my team to succeed. So really take a good hard look at what are you willing to give up to get to where you want to go. Because if that's not really aligned, then maybe it's time to rethink what your end game is.
The other thing is also, for me, like I left a company with a big name. I worked with huge movie stars, and you can go out, when you're on the phone with someone, you're like, oh, I work with the Hemsworths. Like, they're gonna take your phone call. Like, that's life. But then you're calling, you're like, hey, it's Ivy CAVIC. Like, I know what I'm saying is the shit right now. I believe it. I do. Like, I know I'm good at my job, and I have worked all of these years, and I was a part of all these amazing careers to be, and got me where I was. And I think going out on your own, it's about as scary. It's almost as scary as giving birth. I'm just gonna say that. Like you don't know. Right. You don't know what's gonna happen. And so it's just, once you know that you can do it, if you could do it, and you can always do it at a larger company and you rest on the laurels of, oh, I'm at this company, blah, blah. But when you're like, you know what, I got my own company. I am a representative of my company. I want to be seen this way. I am, I'm, sometimes you're scared shitless, but you just, if you own that and you're like, you know what, feel the fear, do it and own it, and just go out there and, persevere. Fall on your face if you have to. Get fired, get hired, enjoy, enjoy that experience, enjoy growing. It's only going to take you to that next level.
And honestly, mistakes are going to be your biggest reward. Like, they are going to be the biggest gift that you will ever have, because that's how you progress in your career, and that's how you progress in just in the industry in general. Like, you learn what not to do and then just don't do it again, or try not to do it again. Like, if you get fired from a job, screw it, like, move on. It's fine. You are going to fail. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. They all know it. But I think from a practical standpoint, think about your end goal. If you want to start a company, if you want to be an influencer, if you want to do this, like, what does it take? How much money do you need to save for how many months, knowing that you're not going to immediately have income? All of my girls, like Jackie, Ina, like all of my clients, all started not making money from their channels and realized, what can I do to subsidize my income? Is it working at a makeup counter? Is it being a waiter? Is it doing Postmates like Amber? Like, do what you have to do, knowing that the end goal, it's the long game. It's not the short game. And I think a lot of people make that mistake, like, oh, I'm going to quit my job, and like, oh, YouTube. Like, that's not how it works. So save
how do
your
you
money and have
balance all of
strategy.
that? How do you balance, maybe you're not, starting your own boutique business. Maybe you have to take the internship that doesn't pay, or maybe you have to take this shitty ass job that you don't want to be at, because you have that end goal, which is what everyone talks about. Visualize your end goal and figure out places to get there. But how do you balance your end goal with also life?
So it's crazy, because I feel like I work less owning my own agency than I worked when I was managing an agency. It sounds crazy, but like, I was working 14-hour days, managing 20 people, all for someone else's dream, which is important because, like you said, it's like a free education. Like, I was taking risks, I was doing this, I was 26 as a VP. I'm like, are you sure this is the right decision? And then I was like, no, I can do it myself. But I think it's like being a sponge, like learning everything you can from every opportunity, and then taking a risk when you know it's the right time. Pay your dues. Don't complain. Learn from people like this. These women have killed it, and they are like, be a sponge of knowledge. Take them to coffee and learn. It's everything.
And most people want to share like what they've been through. I mean, well, I guess that's why we're all sitting up here. But we've all, I used to be at the office at 7:30 in the morning, and we're not allowed to leave till 7:30 at night, and then even then you had to, stay even, till 9 o'clock if you had to. But like, you just do it. You go with a smile, and you never let your boss or whomever it is that you're working with or for see that it's grueling. See that you're tired. See that, just do it. If you want to, I had a friend, not even a client, but who's also in the public eye, who wanted to write a book. I don't have time. And I was like, you know what? Write for 30 minutes before you go to bed. And now she's going out with a book. It's just little increments of time. And it allows you, that's for your soul. What is it? Isn't it like chicken soup for your soul or something like that? That's the chicken soup for her soul. Just find it. It's there. How many hours are you scrolling on your Instagram a day, for real?
But I do think, something Cole said that was really interesting is we all have bills to pay. We all have grown lady bills. Let's not pretend that that's not a thing. So if you know that your business is going to take 6 to 12 months to get off the ground, then maybe you don't have the luxury to just be like, F it to your day job, and maybe you work on your business at night, or you work on your business on the weekend. And that goes back to what Gina was saying about giving up things. Maybe you can't go to the club because you actually have to work on your business, and that's okay. I know for me, I was very fortunate that I had a very good exit from a startup, so I had a cushion to be able to say, hey, if I don't sign any clients, then I can go back to, that my savings, or I can do that. And for those of you that don't come from money or aren't privileged, I don't want that to feel like a barrier for you to start your own business, because there is a will, there is a way. You just may have to sort of figure out a way, to your point, Asia, of balancing how much you're working on your own business versus learning on someone else's dime. I got my training working on Xbox and Microsoft. I don't care that I learned on Bill Gates' dime. He has a ton of money. Like, it doesn't matter. So, like, I just think you have to be smart, though, because hustle doesn't pay the light bill. So you have to figure out, like, what's going to work for you, I think, and be realistic.
And I think it also builds a lot of resilience. You know, when you think you're just getting dumped, you know, bills are stressful. Money is stressful. It is. I am a money stressor. I could win the lottery tomorrow and I'd be like, ugh, my yacht is so expensive. But, you know, but when you are dealing with this stress, there's something really cathartic about being in that place where you're like, am I going to break? Is this going to break me? And I will tell you, not to like be a downer or anything, but last year I was dealing with so much stuff personally that, you know, I think when I look back on it now, I think, gosh, you know, I could have really let that swallow me whole. My mom was in a coma. I was moving. I was selling a house and moving into a new house. I had 2 small children. I was flying up to Seattle to literally stand over a mother on life support. Meanwhile, while that was going on, I had booked a huge event for Amazon. They were calling me. Nobody cared that I was literally, they didn't care. I mean, they were lovely people, don't get me wrong, but there was an issue with valet, and I'm literally standing over my mother with tubes coming out of her body going, well, here's what we're gonna do about your valet problem. And people said to me all the time, Ivy was ringside for a lot of this. A lot of people came up to me and said, how are you doing all of this and not falling apart? And it really made me realize I don't have the luxury of falling apart. I just don't. If I fall apart, it doesn't help my employees. It doesn't help my family. My bills don't get paid. It's just not an option. It just wasn't. So as much as there were times that I just thought, you know, this is a lot. This is a lot to deal with. By the same token, it was so strength building in me and made me realize, you know, there's something really, really, really cool about being focused. You know, there's just jobs that need to get done. And when you're the boss and you own the company, you're not just responsible for you. You're responsible for clients, employees. So you have this massive responsibility to take care of those people as well. So they're really, like, you really have to build sort of this strength, resilience. So if you're working at one of these jobs that these guys are talking about and you don't want to be, you know, faxing things out, or you don't want to be making coffee runs, or whatever arbitrary job your boss is giving you, don't let that come over you. Make every job something that you're going to persevere through, because it's going to build a strength in you. You're going to get tested whether you're the boss or you're the employee. So if you're not passing those tests as an employee, maybe you're not ready to be the boss yet, because I'm telling you, it gets harder and it gets more intense, to the point where you almost have to put your personal stuff on the back burner because there's a bigger thing going on here. So if that is not something you're ready to do, maybe don't make the jump until you really feel like, I'm willing to put it all on the line for this, because you likely will have to at some point.
I also think it's important to, like, to your point about kind of separating, like, people get too emotional in business. You have to be like, here's my business, and it's like, I'm chasing creative, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna kick it with my friends, I'm gonna have a good time, like, whatever. But, like, literally, if you mix the two too much, then it's like, if you lose a client, or this person screws you over, or this editor then don't take it personally. It's just business. Like, it is just business, and don't let it affect your personal life. And to like what you were saying, like, have balance. Like, still make time for yourself, still work out, still do whatever.
Hold on.
Have a baby.
I just want to say one thing. Okay, I know. Balance is the biggest bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. It doesn't fucking exist. Sorry. It doesn't exist, guys. Yeah, you can compartmentalize. But sorry, that's really loud. You can compartmentalize, but like balance, for me that's such a trigger word, because I
millennial problem.
No, I struggle.
So are you like stressed every single day? if you don't have balance.
No, I'm not
No, but you know,
stressed.
I can speak to this because what Cole is saying is compartmentalize. Don't bring your personal life into the
Sorry.
office because nobody cares. I'm sorry. The people that you're working with, you can be friendly with, your clients you can be friendly with, but at the end of the day, everybody's in the room to make money and get the job done, period. Yeah.
So like when I hear terms like, oh, this is my work wife, this is my work husband. No, it's not. You
Yeah.
got a husband
No.
at home.
Right.
You got a wife
Exactly.
at home. You were here. Did the report get done? Is the report on time? Because my husband and my actual husband's at home tapping his foot. You are not my work husband. You are not my work wife. We are colleagues. I like your outfit. How are you today? But we have something to do.
And I think to Ivy's point, no, absolutely. Everybody's so
Yeah.
exactly right. No, but like to Cole's point, I know what Cole is saying. There's
do.
a
I
balance
just-
between
it was
whatever.
just
And
the words
sometimes you
that
do need to
murdered
like
me.
take a step away and sort of refocus. But I understand where Ivy's coming from too, because I think balance, especially for working mothers, is this idea that there's an equal amount of time to go that goes with everything in your life. So the two like weights that you're holding look like this. They never look like that. They look like this.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, listen, my kids are at 2 birthday parties. I don't know what the hell's going on there. That's my husband's problem right there. I'm here with you guys. So I wouldn't know. So the balance is I'm here. I'm looking at you guys and I'm thinking about you guys. And until I just mentioned them, I hadn't really been thinking about them. So that's not great balance, but whatever. But after this, I will go home and be with my kids. But this idea that everything is equal, I think, is what Ivy is speaking to.
Yeah,
It
it's
isn't
not
going to
at
be
all.
equal. If you're looking again for a lifestyle where a third of my time is going to go to Pilates and a third of my time is going to go to my
I'm gonna get a green juice.
Right? That's not what it is. You could have the most lovely Saturday plan for yourself where you're going to hike, run in, and meditate, and just have a day for you. Would need it so bad. And then a client calls and they're like, yeah, I'm about to just take a giant dump all over your entire plan for today. And you don't get to say to that client, yeah, I can't deal with you right now because I'm taking a me day. You have to put yourself on the back burner and do that thing. So they're all right.
And they're never me days, by the way.
Also, like, but what Cole is saying makes a lot of sense because people get hella emotional and it's really uncomfortable because, and I'm not, and like, at the end of the day, everything is gonna be okay, right? Like, everyone got up this morning, everyone got dressed, everyone got a latte, like, everything's fine. Where it gets weird is when, to your point, like, people start crying. Like, you don't have to cry. Like, everything is gonna be okay. Like, mistakes happen, things don't get done. Clients fire you, clients yell at you. Clients don't want to pay you. That's that's when you actually can get emotional. They don't want to give you your bread. But other than that, like, I totally see what you're saying in terms of like, sometimes you have to really take the emotion out of it, and it's hard when it's your business and you've given up time with your homegirls, you've given up time for the gym, you've given up time for your friends and your family and your kids, but it is business, and you really, like, everyone, and we all probably still have to work on it, like, it's business. Like, at the end of the day, this is like getting your coin, paying your mortgage, and starting a business. Those are not emotional things. Those are very practical, pragmatic thing.
Like,
And that's
no
where that
boss-
balance you're talking about fills in, because you don't go to your boss and have
Yeah.
that meltdown. You
No
go to your
balance,
friends
it's
and
a
have that
trigger.
meltdown.
Sorry, I was like balance. No, but the other thing is, like, I say this to people that work for me, like, we're not curing cancer. Like, we work in entertainment. The goal is to entertain. You know, like, no one's gonna die on my table here. You know, so like, it's just do what you can do. You know, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. Do what you can do and do it as well as you can do it. And, you know, if you're not doing it right, rather than like getting upset about it or that, like, you know what, take it as a learning experience and say, okay, well, I fucked this up. Like, how am I better? How can I be better? How do I be the best version of myself? You know, I mean, every day you should really.
make mistakes. Like, we don't give ourselves space to make mistakes. Like, the Instagram filter gotta be perfect. The report has to be perfect. I gotta look this way. Like, we're all human. Most of us are women or identify as women here. Like, the world is hard enough. So give yourself space to make mistakes personally and professionally, because there's gonna be other people that shit on you. Like, don't do that to yourself while you're trying to build a business. Like, you don't need all that. That's just gonna like make things 10 times more harder than they need to be.
And that Instagram thing you just mentioned too, that's like this big in the picture frame of everything that's happening behind the scenes. So that Instagram life on the beaches that Revolve, puts out there, it is such a small portion of what happens in the months that go into it, and all of the people that are in the back crying because, the clothes never made it to Bermuda and no one has anything to wear. It's about you have to be true in those moments too, like understand that mistakes happen and bad things happen, but then you have to look at it and be like, all right, so next time, what can we do? So this doesn't happen, so next time I don't feel this way, you don't feel this way, and look at it that way. Everything can get better.
And also, on that note too, one of my favorite things is you really find out what you're made of if you want to make yourself a superstar. When a mistake or something really bad happens at your job, if you want to be a superstar, find ways to fix that problem.
Agree.
Right there and then. Jump in with both feet. Don't inch your way out and be like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
know. No,
I'll tell
let
you
me
what.
figure it out.
Yes.
I always say, don't tell
be a
me
part
the
of the
problem, just
solution.
give me the solution.
No, seriously, if anyone has an issue, I'm like, listen, I don't care that you made a mistake. What I care about is you're sitting here complaining and whining about it, as opposed to bringing me 3 solutions for me to choose from, and then we'll move on. It's when you dwell and complain, and it's like, get over it. Nobody cares. Get over it.
It still has to happen.
Yeah.
So
Clothes didn't show up, so where's the local store that we can just sew some Revolve tags in the back and make it seem like this is Revolve?
we didn't do that. Just letting you know,
We're taking off our clothes and giving them to you.
So now we're gonna ask if the audience has any questions.
Hi. How do you get over the fact that sometimes when you're have these emotions that you're just you can't do it anymore. You want to give up because it's just hard. Your family's home, you're working 24/7, your friends are having fun, you're not there because you're working. How do you get over that? How do you push through? Because that's what I'm right now.
There's a lot of tears, I'm not gonna lie, on my side, but then you just have to, for me, I have a great support system, and I mean, actually, 2 of my support system are sitting on this panel right now, but it's just, surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that want you to succeed, because you have the ability inside of you. There's no one else that can do what you do as well as you're gonna do it. And it's not easy. It's just not. I'm not gonna, life's not easy, right? We all have our own shit that we all deal with. But if you don't need a whole group of people. You need 1, maybe 2 people, that are there to be your cheerleader, because they're not gonna do it for you. Don't expect anybody to do it for you, by the way. Wish I had a genie, but you need that. You need someone to just be like, hey, you got this. You're great. This is why you're great.
And like-minded people who are doing what you're doing too. That's why this is really important for you guys to connect with yourself, because if you guys are starting a channel, whatever, give yourselves tips and tricks, find ways, because you guys are both going through the same thing at the same time, and you guys can help each other out.
Another thing too, and this is gonna sound probably a little trite, but whatever it is you're going through, you're gonna come out on the other side of it. Guaranteed. Just know that. You are gonna come out on the other side of this. And what you're feeling right now, and that exhaustion and that fear and that just fuck it attitude, you're just that I can't. Know that in about 6 months, you're gonna look back on that and think, that was a game changer. Yeah. If I can get past that, I'm now ready to get to the next level. Because if you're mountain climbing and you're here and you're trying to get here, the journey from here to here gets steeper and steeper and harder and harder. Take a little time for yourself, sit down, write down your goals, and also give yourself a moment to look at the successes you've had to this point and look back at how scared and frustrated and exhausted you were then, and use that to inspire yourself to keep going. You should keep going.
I mean, I think you're doing great, sweetie. You came here, you got a hat on, you got dressed, you got a ticket. Woo! You all right? You got an accessory? You got a cute white belt on? Like, that's a success. But like, to your point, like, it's okay. Like, we all think we're doing so. It's like, oh, it's so hard. It's so terrible. You know, I got up today. I put on a cute outfit. I got my rare ticket. I got a hat on. I stood up and asked a question in front of all these people. You poppin'. You all right.
Those are the easy parts.
And what you said about, you know, looking and seeing your friends and they're off having fun and doing all these things, I really felt that. Like, I, you know, never had spring break. I wasn't about that life. I worked through all of my entire early 20s. So I missed all that. But I'm now here speaking on a panel, you know, so you have to look at what's ahead. And just, you know, that night at the club is going to be any other night and any other time in your life. But it's all about what you want to do and have to look forward for it.
And as Cole said, that's exactly why A Rare Day is here. It's for you all to meet each other, meet like-minded creatives, grow. If you don't have those people in your life currently that are creative or support you or understand what you're doing, my mom still doesn't get what Instagram is, so when I have to talk to her about how's work, she doesn't get it. But that's what this is. You have 300 friends here to help you get through that hump that you're in right now. And I can hear it in your voice that you're so passionate about what you're doing. So everyone can see on this panel that, you know, like Gina said, in 6 months you're gonna get through that hump. And then on that 6-month mark, you can go out to the club with your friends. But yeah, meet people in the audience. Here's a group of 5 mentors that I'm sure would love to help you. I'm just like volunteering for them.
Don't be afraid to ask for help or advice from people. I literally stalked people on LinkedIn and I was like, this is a boss, can I take you to coffee? Tell me everything you know. Or like a fellow entrepreneur, hey, you did it, I'm having issues here. Do you mind giving me some advice? Everyone is, I mean, we love hearing ourselves speak, let me tell you, but like literally, like everyone is there for you. You don't even realize how big of a network you have, especially in the digital age. Literally, some of these biggest influencers will answer your DMs if you have a legit question.
And
Amber will.
And can I add one more thing to that, just really, really quickly, because I know we got to keep it moving. If you have people in your life that are adding to any self-doubt that you have, that are trying to pull you down, that aren't jumping on the support train that you are driving, I'm telling you this, get those people out of your life. Like, get them out of your life. They can be your fun friends or whatever, but if somebody's like, oh, you're so lame, you're not coming out with us, you got bigger fish to fry, girl. You've got big dreams. If somebody's trying to pull you down into their long walk to mediocrity, let them take that walk alone. Let them take that walk alone. You're mountain climbing up, and if they're an anchor dragging you down, bye.
Wait, the kids say they cancel. I know, no. Katie in my office says she's canceled. She's canceled. Cancel them.
All right, I wish these panels could be an hour because we can just discuss and talk about apparently everything. But yeah, I mean, if you need any help or advice, like they said, reach out. If you're looking for a mentorship, don't be shy. You know, we're all here and we're all here to support you. So thank you for yet another year of entertaining panel. Thank you guys. We'll see you next year.